Enjoy the freedom and convenience that comes with CBZ Bank Visa. With Visa's convenient online payment system, you can make transactions from anywhere in the world with ease. You can pay for your education with a simple click. With Bank Visa card, you'll never miss a beat when it comes to making smart online payments. Shop online from anywhere using your CBZ Bank Visa card. CBZ Bank, partners for success. A bank that's in sync with your lifestyle. We understand your unique requirements and the high level of service that you deserve. Our dedicated relationship officers are ready to grow your wealth and give you sound investment advice designed to support your business, asset acquisition goals, and the life you want to lead. Reach for the stars. Apply for the CBZ Prime account. CBZ Bank, partners for success.
Let me go grab two. I'll. Is anyone sitting there? Yes. Okay. Then get two.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're here at St. George's College, where St. George's second team take on Prince Edward, and St. George's has broken the line. That pass looked a little bit forward, but ref has said play on. Ball has gone to ground, but they regather, and it's phase PE, still a bit offside, but they managed to get back, but the ref has pulled out his arm for an offside penalty. Saints still going through the phases. And a penalty is given. Will they go for posts or they'll go out for the corner? I'm joined here in the commentary box by Tabo, a more regular voice than mine. How have you seen the first exchanges so far, Tabo?
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, we see already the Saints are starting on a very positive note, putting their foot down and trying to establish some sort of momentum with a very good line out and off the top. Ball comes down. It is carried in by Christian Sutter. Unfortunately, his body position is way too high, not able to dominate that collision. And is not able to get over the front line, and indeed excellent defense from the Prince Edward Super Seconds. Very good stepping through there by the fullback. Taking play up to just beyond their own 22. But unfortunately knocking on the ball, and that will be the very first scrum of the game. Ball awarded to St. George's. As we wait for the feed from Seth Machia.
Yeah, first scrum of the day was an interesting one, and see it's very stable at the moment, and they get the ball out.
Very good short line there from Watipa Mandishona. But unfortunately, again, losing possession of the ball in the collision. The Saints are going to have to improve on their ball handling in the collision. Good clearing kick there from the Super Seconds, and the ball is carried back up by the wing, Munashe Pandey. And he's bundled out into touch on the far side, just short of the Prince Edward 10. And that is a line out to Prince Edward. Yeah. Prince Edward doing really well to offset some of that pressure.
Yeah, Munashe pushed into touch there, but he's had a brilliant season all year. Electric pace and good footwork. Has always managed to get to the try line every game. One player who definitely is sniffing on the first team spot radar. I saw some of the weaker games they played. He's come on late, but gifted young man who also made Grand Como week this year.
Yeah, no, 100%. We've seen, as you're saying, his debut at Lomagandi, where he scored 2 tries against the Bisons in the first team. He's certainly knocking on that door and showing that he's got plenty of potential and is able to handle the heat up there. And that is another knock on. So far, the game is very intermittent, very stop-start. Neither team able to build up any form of dominance in possession.
Yeah, and good start, and unfortunate knock on, but St. George's here lining up another attack. Let's see how the Prince Edward defense holds up here. It's always tough when St. George's has built momentum, but Prince Edward doing really well to scramble and realign their defense and force another phase from St. George's.
100%. We saw some very good play from the captain, Ethan Chibasa, stepping through, taking advantage of a couple of Prince Edward defenders who had turned their shoulders really early, so they were presenting a weaker shoulder. So he realized that if he steps back in, there will be that opportunity for the line break and creating a lot of front football for his team.
Yeah, this time Prince Edward feed into the scrum. Still very early in the game, no points yet, still 0-0. Beautiful sunny day here for a winter. It's beautiful weather, mate. Can't complain.
Yeah, 100%. Beautiful weather. They do say down here in the south of Africa, we do have some of the best winters ever. In similar parts of the world, maybe they'd be saying it's a heat wave.
Yeah, no, definitely. Talking about a heat wave, Prince Edward here facing a lot of pressure from St. George's. And there we go with Sean Chinomona, gifted young man. Normally plays 10 position, but here playing 12. Good height, good size, good pace, good head on his shoulders.
Now, 100%. We saw that he had a very good understanding of the situation. He got the ball and he knew he had two men outside of him, and he knew that the Prince Edward defense was preoccupied with those two. He showed them the picture they wanted to see. They thought he was going to pass out, and he faked the pass and went through the gap that they left, and it was an easy stroll for him to the try line.
Yeah, great try there, but no, the cone delaying to come, and he tries a drop kick and he sprays it wide. But yeah, I guess he was under pressure there, that he didn't have the kicking tee and time was running out.
Yeah, of course, under the new laws, you can only kick, you've only got 40 seconds to kick. So they didn't have time to wait for a cone to come. And that is, of course, something that the home side are going to have to improve on, the organization from that perspective.
Yeah, well, Prince Edward now with the kick restart. Be interesting where they go. They go short or long. They've gone long. Down the middle.
Very good playmaking there from Jaden Mangunda. Received the ball deep and played out, trying to create an angle for their exit, but so far Prince Edward handling it well. Very good box kick there from the scrum of Seth Machia, and he manages to find touch just short of the halfway line. Very good exit there from the St. George's Saints.
Yeah, I think P unlucky there. I think they tried to run it and crash on when they were exiting there instead of kicking it out, and that's what cost them the first try of the game. And we see here St. George in a similar situation, and them kicking it out, playing correctly in the right areas of the game, the parts of the field. And I think if PE stick to their structure, they should be able to maintain some sort of dominance of some sort, or be competitive at the very least.
As you see, very good line speed once again from St. George's, snuffing out the threat from that off the top line out. And you see once again able to create turnover as the ball comes up with Watipa Mandishwana, but unfortunately bundled out just as he was looking to run through, and I think he was only faced with one more defender to beat, but eventually the scramble defense from Prince Edward, bundling him out into touch. We'll come back to the first knock on that had happened earlier, and that will be a scrum down to St. George's to be fed in once again by Seth Machia.
Yeah, Watipa, the gifted young man, also played Gran Como last year. Previously was at Ridings, and also in the Zim athletics team, sprinter. So his temptation was to try run around, but he had to back himself and try work inside there. Gifted young man.
As the ball comes through from Machia, pick up from the eighth man, Munashe Kawonde, working to the short side. This is a wide ruck now from St. George's. Carry out by the big boy, Kodagwashe Mzongi. Slow ball from St. George's on this occasion. Ball comes out the back. But good line speed there from the Prince Edward Super Seconds, forcing the knock on. And that will be a scrum just on the halfway, just short of the halfway, I should say.
Maybe that's perspective.
That's what I was saying, Cody. Because people will be coming up the whole time and they'll be shouting and singing. So we see the ball, a good kick through there from Prince Edward, putting pressure on the fullback. Is able to keep that leg drive going, buying his support time to arrive. The fullback Mangunda. St. George's continue to play through the phases with their forwards. Good carry there from Daniel Festus. As ball comes out, a bit further out to the far side. St. George's managing to milk a penalty. Poor discipline there from Prince Edward, allowing the soft exit. They'll be disappointed having worked so hard to put pressure on St. George's and forcing them all the way back into the 22.
Yeah, first line out option here for Saints. Good touch finder. Just putting it on the 10-meter line in Prince Edward half. Be interesting to see how they go on the line out here and whether they can launch an attack from it. But great work there from Jaden, fullback. He got away with murder there. He was under a lot of pressure and managed to work his way out and until enough support came through.
Yeah, 100%. His centers and opposing winger should have worked a lot harder to come back in support, because what you want when there's a kick through like that is to effect two passes going across the field, get away from the point of pressure and put pressure on the far side of the field. But, you know, that is something that the boys can improve on. They're still young men.
Yeah, good mold there to set up the current attack and working. They've got a bit of numbers out there, and let's see how they manage this.
As we see St. George's trying to put pressure on the Prince Edward fold. Is Machia able to get the ball out to the wing on the far side? Pouched by the Prince Edward defense. As Prince Edward come on the turnaround. Ball kicked up by the fly half. And we'll come back for a penalty. A number of St. George's defenders. In fact, one of the St. George's defenders putting in a late hit. So the Prince Edward boys had the option of either taking the penalty from the point of the hit or going to where the ball bounced, and obviously boys would opt for the easy 30 meters upfield.
Yeah, some interesting decisions here for PE. Do they kick for line out, post, or we see now they've called for a scrum, backing their scrum stability over the uncertainty, the way they've been struggling at line outs. And maintain ball, and let's see how they go with their first genuine attack opportunity.
There's a beautiful short side over there, more than 20 meters. So you'd like to see the 8th and work to the blind side, but they decide to launch. Surely that was a forward pass from the fly half on the wraparound. Not seen by the ref. Very experienced ref, Walter, saying, nah, that ball went back, but he'll punish the St. George's boys for an accidental offsides. That's the price you pay for running laterally. Prince Edward not taking advantage of the short side. Perhaps they should have taken an 8-9 move with the wing on the far side. Maybe we don't have enough of that tactical thinking in our country. Yasha, how do you see it?
Yeah, no, I think it's having opportunities to see a lot of those pictures more often, and I noticed that a lot of our teams struggle when the defense rushes onto them. They seem to struggle on that, but and it seems like both teams playing here today, they like to press hard on defense, and that's putting a lot of pressure onto teams and not allowing them to. So I think the solution there is for teams to play a bit deeper and also have decoy runners to keep the defense stagnant and to hold the defense line.
100%, because one of the things that we do know about the genetic makeup of these St. George's sides, is they always come up at you with a high line speed, especially off the set piece. they always want to get that front foot, and they do run up at you. So that looping action that the fly half wanted, probably wanting to isolate Ethan Chibasa in that 13th channel and run through him, kind of like what Lomagandi did last week against St. John's. But unfortunately, not able to execute as well. And you come back to a scrum to St. George's. Let's see how they play, given that there is more or less 15 meters on the short side. Will they go for the 8-9 pickup again?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. They play the ball out, Shinomona, and he skips. Great pass, but it doesn't go to hand, but they still recover it. And there we go, that electric winger.
Munashe Pandey, the man that you were speaking about earlier with the red scrum cap. He's got his dancing shoes on. Managing to gain a fair amount of speed, kind of reminding me of Edwards Galgate. Was on tour up in North America with the Sables. And you see yet another opportunity lost by the Saints. 13 minutes to go in this first half of the second team match between the St. George's Saints and the Prince Edward Super Seconds. And the score is only 5-0 to the hosts. We're here live and exclusive on Cairo Sports. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our partners, Econet Wireless, CBZ Bank, the Scrummy app, and Frampol. Bringing you the action. You can find us on the Cairo Sports Facebook page and the Cairo Sports YouTube page. If I need to tell you that, I'm not quite sure how you're seeing us now.
Yeah, I think we're on YouTube at the moment, and yeah, line out. They retain the ball at line out time. Do PE not the best, but they still maintain ball control. Let's see how they go this time, getting the ball out. It kicks to side C space. Watipa with the ball, but he's the wrong man to kick to. He'll definitely be backing himself and getting some good meters. He lives for these opportunities.
He's a beautiful runner to watch, young Watipa Mandishona. As you were saying earlier on, he's a national athletics prospect. And you see yet again that long-ranging stride of his, but unfortunately not able to gather that kick through and keep it in play. But he's showing a lot of attacking initiative, young Mandishona. And that goes out to give Prince Edward a chance to get a clearing exit.
Yeah, unlucky there. That was a good idea with the chip and chase. Prince Edward will be forced to exit here. And it kicks it right through the midfield. And Pandey would be loving this opportunity. Let's see what he does here. Yeah. Look at him go. Even had time to take off his scrum cap.
I'm pretty sure he wanted a clearer picture for his TikTok profile. I think he had already seen himself, but a beautiful step and go there from young Munashe Pandey, showing that the winger position at the Dragons is secure. They do have some very potent threats on both sides of the field in the second team.
Well, in a couple of years' time, you'll be giving Edward Sigauke a run for his money at wing there. Beautiful footwork. It's a joy to watch, and it's a very big mistake there by PE. They should have tried to find touch from that kick and not kick it into this danger man on both wingers here. They love to be kicked at, and they love the space, and they can punish you. We see in the far end there, he's gone down. Did Munashe after that run? We see, no, it's not him. It's the 13 from Prince Edward who's down. Let's hope he's okay. Nonetheless, the lineup comes, the 5-meter lineup from St. George's. They drop it, but it looks like it went back. Ref has called it back, said it's gone forward. It's going to be a scrum down for Prince Edward. Let's see if they manage to exit this time around. And they do get the ball out. Oh, they managed to kick it out, but he kicks it through the middle again. And it goes to Pandey again, and he gets a chance to wound up and run at them. But this time they do take him down. And St. George is still in control of the ball here. And an opportunity to use the forwards. Give them a touch of the ball. And dropped ball. Unfortunately, tip tackling here after St. George's made a mistake. Might end up being in trouble here. And giving away a penalty. An unnecessary penalty. Yeah. The decision has been overturned. And St. George's do get the penalty. Five-meter line out for St. George's. This time they go deep. 6 ball. Determined not to be in straight. Scrum down for Prince Edward here. They've been absorbing a lot of pressure the last 10 minutes. Good thing is that they haven't conceded a try in that period. And again, they exit, but only as far as Pandey. This time he makes a shamble of it as the ball was bouncing. And St. George's give away a penalty there. PE quick to attack and tap the ball this time. And he's knocked it and give away the ball. And gets the ball into the hands of Munashe Kaonde. Strong ball runner. And PE scrambling to get onside. That's a big carry there from Kudakwashe Muzongi in jersey number 1. And in jersey number 7, Taonga Garande, also the big. Pandey tries to chip it and plays into space, but he knew that he had a penalty on his side. And will they go for a line out again, or they'll look to do a quick tap? They do score for a scrum down.
So far, the game evening out somewhat. Prince Edward managing to ride out the crest of that horrible wave and turning the momentum back on Prince Edward and on St. George's, right? And the way things are going, with maybe 5 minutes to go in this first half, looks like we can go into the halftime break with Prince Edward ahead. Definitely, they got the momentum and they're managing to bring St. George's down to playing at the pace and intensity that Prince Edward would like. But unfortunately, giving away a penalty, and St. George's, interestingly enough, opting not to take that easy to kick penalty. And they win
but
another one.
Not back 5 there. They're going to be in trouble. Yeah.
So St. George's again opting not to take the points. Do you think maybe it's because the cone is still missing?
Look, I don't think so. These boys haven't looked towards the bench at any point in time and have given away the ball there. But that's what comes with second team rugby. You know, boys are out here to have a good time. They're not too worried too much about the technical part of getting 3 points, 5 points, 3 points rather. They will rather opt for 5 and have something for the TikTok highlights.
Yeah, you know, one of the things about their coach, Big Ozzy Muambi, is he loves to give boys the opportunity to have a go. He's one of those guys who tends to say to the boys, listen, if you're feeling the momentum, if you're seeing it, trust yourself and have a go. He's one of those coaches who does trust players, and he's not going to be the guy to step in unless things are going horribly wrong. And I'm pretty sure at this point he feels things are still well in hand for the St. George's Saints. As we wait for the line out from Bradley Chiwuri, the Super Seconds captain. Just about tipped by the competing jumper, and the ball comes through on the St. George's side. Counter from St. George's. They'll be looking to keep control. The ball comes out to Suter to Chinomwe trying to find Pandey on the far side. Pandey is going to have a run. Kicks through. Taken late, surely, by the St. George's boys, by the Prince Edward boys. Fly off will try to dance out of danger. And sanity will prevail. Referee will come back to it and say there's a penalty. The St. George's support going off their feet, making that ball uncontestable. And once again, another attacking opportunity, reaping no reward.
Yeah, PE, they're managing to exit, but they don't find touch. Bouncing ball.
We see some fancy footwork there from Young Pandey in the spirit of the Football World Cup final. Speaking of which, later on tonight, we will see the third place playoff, and tomorrow, the final.
Yeah, who's your money on for third and fourth?
I'm of that discerning nature that never admits to watching Diski in public.
Yeah.
But were I a betting man, I'd certainly be on France. And for the sake of jokes, I'll have a go with Spain. Spain for tomorrow because, hey, Messi and co have had it too easy for me.
So you create your own luck in sport, and St. George is there, grubbering through and almost making their way to the try box.
So less than just about a minute to go until the halftime break. It is still the St. George's Saints leading 5 points to 0 in this clash between the Saints and the Super Seconds from Prince Edward. Massive build up towards the match of all matches on reunion weekend here on Weaver Field at St. George's in Harare.
Yeah, and I think Prince Edward will be quite happy with the scoreline here, going into halftime 5-0 down, something they can claw back on. They just need to brace themselves for one more wave of attack before the halftime whistle goes here. And they do manage to steal the ball here. They just need to hang on to it for a couple of more seconds. And the yellow card there to St. George's. Will PE try kick it into touch to end the half, or they try run it for it and try score before halftime?
Looks like Prince Edward will kick for territory. Don't want to take any chances, but that ball once again not going out into touch. just about gathered by Pandey. Pandey will have another run. He's going to dance through one man, dance through a second. Ball comes out to his hooker, Anthony Shendi Baba. Shendi Baba. Going to keep showing them who's daddy. Out on the far side, that's another wide rug for St. George's. They do have a chance to get some separation on the scoreboard before halftime. Our clock says it's time up. So surely this would be the last play. St. George's now looking to pile on the pressure with some slow rucks. Some pick and goes. It's important to maintain pressure. Once again, a bridge pass. Oh, unfortunately not gathered by Watipa Mandishona. And that'll take us to the Oranges.
Yeah, unlucky there, but brilliant pass from number 12 there, Sean, to be able to hit that ball. Unfortunately, his winger failing to catch it. St. George is going to halftime with.
Enjoy the freedom and convenience that comes with CBZ Bank Visa. With Visa's convenient online payment system, you can make transactions from anywhere in the world with ease. You can pay for your education with a simple click. With your CBZ Bank Visa card, you'll never miss a beat when it comes to making smart online payments. Shop online from anywhere using your CBZ Bank Visa card. CBZ Bank, partners for success. A bank that's in sync with your lifestyle. We understand your unique requirements and the high level of service that you deserve. Our dedicated relationship officers are ready to grow your wealth and give you sound investment advice designed to support your business, asset acquisition goals, and the life you want to lead. Reach for the stars. Apply for the CBZ Prime account. CBZ Bank, partners for success.
And we're back now for the second half. St. George's lead 5-0 in this tightly contested match. And they will restart us off and kick it deep. And the winger there, Watipa, was offside. Ran a little bit, mistimed his run, and gave away a scrum pin for being in front of the kicker. Scrum is being reset. Referee Walter not too happy and explaining a lot to the players in the front row on how he wants things done. And PE get it straight, he's come out and they get the ball out. One of their first times where they run ball all the way out. Great attack here from them. And they're managing to string a few phases more than they did before. Great dummy and run by the 10 here. Gets tackled by the fullback. And PE in a good space here. Chance to score. First here after the halftime. They need to be patient in attack. Run 8 phases now. And still in control. George's defense, great tackle there coming in. And now they push the ball out wide. And they lose the ball critically. But Watipa gets the ball in space. And very few people in the country can catch him. And
so unfortunately, Mandishona in falling over, in tripping over, in fact, from that ankle tap, panicked and in his enthusiasm to get back up, tried to reach out, and the very experienced referee, Walter, rightly awarding a penalty against him for trying to play it on the floor and somehow in that melee knocking it on as well. And that will be a relieving penalty to Prince Edward. Sort of error-strewn beginning to the second half. We've seen both sides making some frustrating errors and can see a fair amount of agitation on the Prince Edward bench as well as on the St. George's bench. Both coaches trying to urge their charges to get back to some level of urgency, because whichever side manages to find their fluency, it looks, will control the second half. As St. George's look to build up once again with Menashe Kawonde. Kawonde gets the ball comes out to the near side. Scrum off Machias, not able to get to it, and that will be a penalty to the St. George's Saints. Are they going to kick? It's a kickable penalty once again. And they're going to ask for a scrum. It is fairly central. Options to go on either side. So it'll be interesting to see how St. George's arrange their backs. Are they going to stack on one side of the field? Or are they going to split them in half? We see that so far as things stand, the Saints are lining up mainly on the far side of the field. They got 3 and 2. Scrum off, full play to the far side where the fly off is. Fly off gets the ball out to the fullback. The fullback looking for Pandey. Pandey tries to dance past his man but slips and falls. Much to the amusement of the PE boys on the far side in support. As Saints try to build up some pressure, working towards the middle. Scrum off will pick it up and go. Is this match here to score? Yeah, he'll score. See you later, boy. The Saints do get some clearance on the scoreboard. It is now 10 points to 0. It has taken almost 10 minutes, in fact 5 minutes, for them to get some sort of parity and to establish a bit of dominance over the Prince Edward boys. Is there a way back for PE now, do you think, Nyasha?
Yeah, no, always possible. It's schoolboy rugby, but I think P had their chance a couple of minutes ago when they were camped in the St. George's 22, and they turned it over just with one pass to go in attack. So
And that kick from the center. Chinomwe goes through. It is now 12 points to 0. As Prince Edward look to restart the game once again with Jerome Kunze. Very good and deep kick once again. Finds a fly half Viangumbo. Clearing kick by the fullback. Takes Prince Edward just short of their 22. Very good clearance. Quickly taken by Kunze. Kunze looking to play with his fullback. Brian Kurwai Simba. Kurwai Simba takes the ball up to the halfway line. Prince Edward looking to build up some form of momentum. Big carry there from the Titan prop, Ashton Mapako. Slow rock, unfortunately for Prince Edward. Prince Edward tend to thrive when the recycles are quicker than this. Slow ball once again. Prince Edward play to the near side. Kowo taken down by Mnashe Kaonde, is opposite 8. But unfortunately, the PE support going off their feet and making that uncontestable.
yeah, that clearance kick before from Sean was interesting. He was in his 22 and almost kicked it for a 50-22 from his own half, from his own 22. It fell just short. It's got a strong leg there, and someone in the crowd felt it just now as he's kicked for touch and it hit someone in the crowd. Brilliant boot on him. Yeah, definitely one player who might thrive next year when he gets his chance at first team.
100%. And, speaking of which, we do have a lack of left-footed kickers. Of course, we had that with LT of the Sables, Linius Tambuera, left-footed kicker. You always want to have a left and right foot kicker because it gives you a tactical advantage. You do have options in terms of where to kick. And St. George's are unable to gather that one. As you see, the ball's carried up by Lionel Mugataweta, but we'll come back to the earlier knock on. St. George's will be disappointed with the execution of that line out. So far, neither side able to establish dominance. But in saying that, it is on a knife edge because you do feel the way things are. And given the way some of the junior games went, Prince Edward aren't out of it. And they do tend to come back in the second half. Good solid scrum that is from the Super Seconds. unable to take advantage of that front foot. Once again, we see that line speed from the St. George's defense as the center on the wing on the far side dances through. He'll offload, taken down by 3 men, and somehow that is pouched by Ethan Chibasa, who's had plenty of time to rest, but unfortunately unable to gather that ball and keep it through the collision, but will come back to an earlier penalty. Possibly.
He's an exciting player, Ethan. Great footwork he has. And unlucky not to be in the first team. It's just that back line in the first team is just stacked with talent. But again, it's more about game time. And it's great that he gets to play plenty of minutes in the seconds here. But yeah, great player. And as we see this substitution starting to come on now. The hooker there from St. George's, Anthony Ushekunze, Ushendibaba, Festus, and yeah, they all come off, and as well as Sean, they all come off, give other students an opportunity to play and enjoy the game we all love.
So obviously these are very important players for the first team that will be sitting on the bench later on in the much anticipated clash between the Dragons and the Tigers. As you see, yet another good carry from Mukazaweta. Is a very keen player, and we see the very dangerous Kunze. Is he through to score? He is, and that is a try to the Super Seconds. First time on the scoreboard, and it is 12 points to 5 with 17 minutes to go.
Yeah, I know he's always been looking threatening, has been the number 10, Jerome. Finally spotted some space out on the wing, that there wasn't anyone covering the blind side. And with the rotations having come on, Saints still trying to stabilize and get fluidity with all the changes that were made. Also noticed Prince Edward was starting to make their changes as well and roll in some substitutions on. The conversion goes over. It's 12 points to 5, 12 points to 7.
From Lerato Mujena, the center. St. George's Saints taking their time to get back up. They want to change the momentum of this. You know, we have seen Prince Edward tend to have really good fight in the second half of matches, and St. George's sometimes just about gathered there by Kunze, almost giving away a scrum just on his 22. Eventually cleared, and the backfield of St. George's just about getting rid of that ball, and Mandi Shona carrying it up, but we'll come back to the late hit.
Yeah, looked to have had a hard landing there, and referee being aware of that and worried about his safety and concern and suggesting he goes off and gets looked at by the medics. Watipa also going down from that knock, and him also needing some attention. 15 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, of course we do practice the recognize and remove protocol here. If you suspect any form of head contact, anything that could result in a head or spinal injury, no matter how trivial, we recognize it and we remove the player. Player health, of course, is paramount in this sport. expected.
Brilliant run there from just coming off the substitution bench there.
So happily that young man, Koslati Yamasoka, the left winger from Prince Edward, he has come through the check okay. There was nothing serious. And our very able medical team judging that now the young man is okay, he can continue to play, so he's back on the field. So Prince Edward are back to their full complement of 15 as we see St. George's piling up the pressure, looking to build it up. Bit by bit, they are in a very dangerous position right now. They're able to decide which side of the field to go. And we see that St. George's have stacked their players on this near side of the field, and that will be taken over by the substitute center. And that is a try to the third try to the St. George's Saints, and the score moves on to 17 points to 7. St. George's getting a very important try because it was absolutely essential for them to be the next on the scoreboard to keep the Wolves away, as it were.
Now, brilliant play there by St. George's. And finally getting reward for their efforts. They've always been looking threatening the whole game and hadn't had a clear opportunity to break away on the scoreboard, but it looks like it's happening now. As we noted, when Prince Edward scored their first try, St. George's had just strung on some changes, and simultaneously, just as PE has made 3-4 changes with the instability and a lot of changes coming on, defense was a bit all over the place. The defense has held on very well throughout the game. They look very organized and scrambled well back on side, but this time struggled a little bit, and eventually the firepower in the Georges team proving a little bit too much, and eventually a try being scored. The score line is 19 points to 7, and we restart and we play again.
Yeah, Nyash, as you were saying earlier on, Prince Edward have done a lot of defending, and there's only so much defending you can do before the dam breaks, as it were. As you see from that kick restart, St. George's will come away with the ball, but unfortunately the evasive skills absent from the man on that far side. He needed to do a little inside-outside step to get away from his defender, and he gives away the penalty, playing the ball on the floor, and his support also going off their feet. All that work going to waste. Disappointing outcome there, but yet again, Prince Edward are unable to get that ball into touch. Ball goes out. This is the Saints playing towards the near side with the try scorer. Again, support going off feet. That'll be tapped and gone. Jaden Mangunda brought down by Lerato Mujena. And play will stop once again. Can see over there the referee is indicating that there is contact with the head once again. Very experienced ref. And very aware of the situation. The young man will plead and say, nah, he's okay, but nah, it doesn't work like that. Young Jaden Mangunda pleading his case, but nah, that's him off.
Yeah, now he's been a brilliant young man throughout the age groups. Has played some outstanding rugby over the years. And one player to definitely watch out next year when he gets his shot at the Dragons jersey.
So the Saints are forced into their fourth change. So far, they've removed the hooker, a lock, a center, and now the fullback. Prince Edward of that penalty are going to ask for a scrum. Signal coming from the bench there. Coach Shelton Chuswa. Very experienced. Very canny coach in terms of trying to figure out what's going on. No, in fact, it is a St. George's penalty. I beg your pardon. So he was warning his players now. It's a scrum coming. The ball comes out to the fly off, round the back. Finds the blindside winger running shadow. Fortunately, that's an intercept. Can the fullback put it away? Bundled into touch. Just over the halfway line, and oh, that could have gone poorly for the St. George's Saints. That attempt at a pouch and go by Brian Kurwaisimba, he's looked threatening. He has never given up. And he's always looked for opportunities like that. So that is a line out to be taken by the hosts, leading 19 points to 7 with just about 8.5 minutes to go. But not straight. That was not straight. So this gives the Super Seconds an opportunity to spring an attack. Once again, we see a very big blindside. I'm always a fan of the 8-9 play, and I'll plead for it. Once again, there is that opportunity to isolate Young Pandey on that side. We've seen how he is in offense, but I don't think he's been tested enough in defense. Sweeping play this by Prince Edward coming to the side. Was that a 0-degree pass perhaps? The center will go wide. Pass in, but not taken in by the substitute. And we'll come back to that scrum advantage for that knock. Number of players guilty of running across and bringing defense over with them. Perhaps what Prince Edward needs is at least one of those backline defenders straightening the line, running a shorter line than that to at least hold up two of the St. George's defenders, because what you find is when you're running across the field, it's easy for the defense to drift and to not making them pause. Good solid defense there by Prince Edward, and this is picked up by goes back to Nyamsoka. Nyamsoka gets the ball out wide. Can Prince Edward put this one away? Just short on the far side, and that is a penalty to the visitors. Can they tap and go? Or they call for a scrum once again.
Yeah, now looking to launch an attack from here and hopefully get over. But ref had paused them there. They were definitely looking for a tap and go, and they still go ahead. And they creep over into the corner for a try, making it 12 points. 19. It's not an easy kick, but if he gets it over, they will be edging closer to causing the upset here on Weaver.
From here, it's kind of hard to make out who scored that try. But we will wait for the kick attempt from the center, Lerato Mujena. In fact, no, it's the replacement, the number 23, who will be taking that conversion attempt. So far, with 5 minutes to go, Prince Edward are still in it. Oof. Agonizingly close.
It was a good nudge. Got close.
So we restart with a 7-point difference. 5 minutes left on the board. There's 19 points to 12. The hosts ahead. How do you see the next 5 minutes playing out, Nyasha?
Yeah, it's going to be close. I think with St. George's with the kickoff here, it's going to be tough for Prince Edward to work their way out of their half. But if they manage to do so, we're in for a game here. And they kick it deep. What do? Do they exit? Smart decision, exit. But Watipa here knocks it on.
That was a real opportunity for the visitors to stick it to the hosts, as it were. The hosts certainly breathing a huge sigh of relief. That could have gone poorly for them.
Yeah, and Prince Edward will be looking to try and maximize this opportunity with 4 minutes left. Good scrum.
Indecision there between the two centers. Kind of hard to work out. How Dominic Matawera was made to run a short line there. As there is a line break on the far side. Can he score? No, he cannot.
He knocks it on. 4 or 5 of his teammates go down in surprise and knowing how much that opportunity mattered, and also knowing that St. George's might not give them a chance again.
For a moment, Prince Edward dared to dream for a moment. St. George's have not had the best of the last 4 minutes. And it's absolutely critical now for some version of on-field leadership to kick in, because they do need a word. They do need something to be said. They do need some direction. They do need to collect their thoughts. They do need to get some momentum back. They need to get some control in this game, because the next 3 minutes could determine how the rest of the season goes for them.
Certainly will determine a lot the next couple of minutes. A lot of tired legs out there. It really shows that it's seconds. The fatigue is kicking in on both sides. It's St. George's scrum. 2 minutes left on the clock. Will they look to exit? Will they run it? With Zimbabwean Schoolboy, you just never know. You just never know. Called for an early shove there, and St. George's tap it, and they try and run it out. Crowd calling for them to kick it out. But they want to maintain control of the ball. Risky passes there.
You could cut the tension with a knife right now, Nyasha. Hard to tell how this is going to go. But right now, the way things are going, it is a super seconds with their tails in the air. They're smelling it. They're sniffing the blood in the water. And they're keeping the hosts pinned on their own 5 meters.
Yeah, they are, and they've had a good scrum. They've had a fairly dominant scrum here throughout the second half. They could use it, milk a penalty. No, but there's no scrum pins in Schoolboy, is there? A long arm. You can't push beyond a certain number of meters. But let's see how they go here. And he knocks it on. St. George's let off there. And in return,
Luratum Jena not able to pass that pass from Jerome Kunze. Very capable fly off from Prince Edward. As St. George's come away, they will be glad for the real estate. They'll be glad to put some green between them and the try line. The ball comes out. St. George's looking to control it. Bande taking the ball up. They'll slow it down. St. George's trying to get a play action going through. Surely that's a seatbelt. They continue to build it up. Unfortunately, unable to gather that ball.
That advantage would be over. before, but they get a new scrum pen. While they don't need to be tapping it quick, they just need to communicate with the ref and understand whether
Indiscipline from the Prince Edward boys. They were putting a lot of pressure on St. George's, but a seatbelt tackle there. And that is the end of it.
Enjoy the freedom and convenience that comes with CBZ Bank Visa. With Visa's convenient online payment system, you can make transactions from anywhere in the world with ease. You can pay for your education with a simple click. With your CBZ Bank Visa card, you'll never miss a beat when it comes to making smart online payments. Shop online from anywhere using your CBZ Bank Visa card. CBZ Bank, partners for success. A bank that's in sync with your lifestyle. We understand your unique requirements and the high level of service that you deserve. Our dedicated relationship officers are ready to grow your wealth and give you sound investment advice designed to support your business, asset acquisition goals, and the life you want to lead. Reach for the stars. Apply for the CBZ Prime account. CBZ Bank, partners for success.